All right, here's the same trainer, okay? Reactive dog is terrified. He went up to him, he goes back. He goes up, he goes back. Watch, let me rewind that again. Let me just show you. Look, he goes forward. Here. He goes forward. Yes, the dog's tail is wagging, but look at it wagging. It's like parallel to the ground, okay? And the dog is bouncing up and down off his front legs. The trainer is approaching in a very just, hey, I'm coming to you. I don't give a frig what your deal is. Okay, watch. The dog is going to go forward and come back and go forward, come back. And the last time he's going to go forward, come back. He's going to go back in between his owner's legs. Okay. The owner is going to hand the leash off to the trainer. You're going to watch the dog go after the owner, like, yo, where are you going? Don't leave me. Forward, back, forward, back, and back. And in between the legs. And this guy, unfortunately, hands it over to this supposed trainer. And boom, there goes the first helicopter. And here goes the second helicopter. The dog's terrified. The dog is trying to get away from this guy. Okay, watch. Look, he's at the end and he's pulling the leash in. This leash is like, I don't know, 10 feet long. Like, what the hell are you doing with a 10-foot long leash in a park with a reactive dog? I have no idea. Okay, let's go back to it. Okay, watch. And there's more spinning. The dog is backing away from him. Here's two things. One, he's got a pinch collar on. Two, he can pop his pinch collar. I don't know if this guy's got a backup safety on. Well, let's continue to watch. This also is edited down. This is a short little video, probably like, I don't know, 30, 45 seconds, whatever. And it's edited. Like, it'll go through this, it's going to stop and go to another completely different scene. So you know that there's editing. We don't know how long he swung this dog around to try and control him, okay? Watch. Okay. And here the dog backs up. He sits. He's like, I have no choice. I can either attack the trainer. I'm not going to do that because I'm really terrified. Or I can just sit here and go into learned helplessness. What's learned helplessness? I'm waiting for the answer. Tell me in the comments below what learned helplessness is. We learned about it last week. I talked about it. Okay, here we go again. And now here's the edit, right? Here's the cut. We don't know what the heck is going on. I'm curious. Okay, never mind. Okay, let's go back. And we stop and cut to the next scene. The dog's looking. He is afraid. He is totally afraid. This guy's touching him. Oh, big freaking deal. The dog's afraid, okay? Okay, and he's panting because he probably got swung around quite a bit. He's petting him. The dog's not reacting to him. The dog's not like, oh, thank you for petting me. Watch this dog's behavior in the body language. Okay, you can pet me all day long, dude. I am not going to do anything. Here we go. He's got a muzzle on. Great. Good job. You finally have a good piece of equipment on, okay? Here we go. He's going to correct the dog 3 times. Somebody else, I don't think it's the owner because I think they have a different color shirt on. Somebody else walks a dog by very closely to this dog who is reactive, okay? Watch when the corrections come in, and we'll talk about it on the other side. Boom. He says, leave it. Boom, leave it. Boom, leave it. Let's rewind it. I just want to know if you guys saw this dog doing anything that, somebody would think deserved a correction. Watch his body. Watch the dog come up right here. There was another clip too that was edited. He's just looking. He's like, what the hell is going on? And he's turning around. And this asshole is correcting him for looking. Why? What's wrong with looking? Nothing. Okay, this is his last one. We're going to get rid of this one. But we're watching a dog. Watch it again. Look. So I restarted the video. I just want you to see the hanging, and I really want you to look at how scared this dog is. I feel so bad for him. He's so, what does it say? His mom was euthanized after attacking another dog. His owners were desperate to get him or to get help for him to avoid the same happening to him. So these people already have a problem. I bet you they didn't socialize their dogs at all. I bet you that they waited way too long. If they had another dog that was this dog's mother euthanized for aggression, for attacking another dog, two things. One, for attacking another dog, it probably wasn't the first bite if it was euthanized, unless it, maybe if it killed. I don't know what state this is in. I don't really care. But you guys have to start socializing your puppies, okay? And stop all this kind of BS, because you are setting your dogs up for fucking failure if you don't socialize them in the beginning. Am I judging you? Yes, I am judging you. Why am I judging you? Because it's not necessary. If you have a dog from a puppy, from a little puppy, go to class. Why aren't you going to class? What's the issue? $100 for a class. Or, maybe if you can't afford a class, go to your shelter. Go to your local shelter. A lot of shelters have free dog training classes, free behavior help, and there is a plethora of information on the internet, on YouTube. Okay, that's where this guy's putting his videos. He is showing people that if you do this kind of stuff to a dog, I'm just going to let it play in the background. If you do what he's doing to a dog, you're going to gain control over your dog. You think this owner is one wanting to reproduce this kind of correction? No. Two, are they going to be able to reproduce this kind of correction? Probably not. It's not going to happen. It's our job as dog trainers to do the least amount of harm to an animal. We're not here to punish an animal, a dog, for behaving the way he knows how. Why he was never taught any different is not his fault, it's the owner's fault. We as dog owners have to be more responsible. And I am really irritated by this lack of motivation of people who get dogs but don't do anything with them. We just get a dog and we're just going to have it in the house. We're not going to socialize it. We're not going to train it. We're not going to do anything for it. Guess what? Then you get this. This is the dog you get. And then you hire somebody like this, okay? What do you think is going to happen to this dog? What do you think? I can tell you what's going to happen to the dog. He's going to shut down. The owners aren't going to be able to duplicate it. He's fearful. They're probably going to wind up going to a different trainer, maybe using one who uses scientific methods and no force, which would be wonderful. But that's after the dog is totally screwed up, has been abused by another dog trainer, and is now going to be like, oh, wait, you want me to trust you, new dog trainer? Guess what? They're not going to trust you. It's going to take a long time for you to gain their trust as a dog trainer and as their owner, okay? How are you going to trust them? How are you going to get them to trust you? Guess what? You're going to use food. Yes, you are. Let me ask you something. You guys go to like SeaWorld. Most of you guys probably go to like SeaWorld. I've gone in the past too. You know what's happened up there with the orca whales and stuff. And let me just sidebar for a minute, okay? I'm going to put the orca whale incident on the side, okay? That's kind of what happens when you have animals in captivity who should not be in a pool. They need to be in the ocean or in some type of sanctuary, but not in SeaWorld, okay? Now, what happens at SeaWorld is that they're not hitting the whales. They're not hitting the dolphins. They're not hitting the sea lions. They're not choking them. Why? Because they will be injured if not killed, okay? So they're not going to do that. So why are you doing it to a dog? Because so like I said, like why are you going to do it to a dog? You're going to do it to a dog because you think as a human being that you can dominate this animal and that you're smarter than them, and if you show them force, they will comply. Guess what? There is compliance here. I'm not going to argue with you that punishment isn't going to stop a behavior. Sometimes it really does stop the behavior. But with punishment, you have to have excellent timing. So you're punishing the right thing. And you also just have to be able to follow through on the whole thing. Punishment comes in different forms. I like to use punishment. You know how I use punishment? In very simplistic terms. A barking dog, I turn my back on them. That's punishment. That's like the one of the lowest level forms of punishment. Okay, so this type of punishment, the problem is that you are hurting the animal. Dogs have a super high tolerance for pain. It's part of their survival, okay? They have super thick necks. If this is like, I don't know, a Rottweiler or a Pit Bull or whatever kind of dog it is, they're like muscle, okay? He's very muscular, this dog. You're still leaving bruises with a pinch collar. If you were to remove his fur, you could see the bruises. I know this because I told you before. We have evidence of it. So you don't want to, why do you want to hurt your dog? But guess what? Owners don't think they're hurting their dog. They watch this kind of stuff and they're like amazed and they're like, oh God, I'm so glad I don't have to do that. Guess what? I used to train like this. Like I said last week, my clients would never be able to duplicate this. It's not something that everybody can duplicate. It's not something that I ever want anybody to duplicate. I did this a really long time ago. We're talking about, let's see, I started in 96. That was a long time ago. We're talking almost what, 30 years? Pretty much? 25? I don't know. Math sucks right now today. My brain's not a math brain. But my point is that I want you to hire a dog trainer that is going to use scientific methods, okay? And that is going to use classical conditioning or operant conditioning, especially operant conditioning. Clicker training works amazingly well in dogs that are reactive because a clicker marks behavior. The clicker could mark a calm behavior. The clicker could mark the dog looking up at you. If my dog looked up at me, I would click and reward because I want to mark that behavior. I want that behavior to be something that my dog offers me on the regular. Okay. Not once in a while, all the time, you know, especially in a situation like this. So, what would be awesome to do is to teach your dog when there's something that is kind of upsetting them or making them react. Okay, another dog, another whatever, inanimate object, I don't care what it is. If you teach your dog to look at you and you click and reward that when they see that stimuli, guess what? You just really trained in an incompatible behavior to the reaction. So instead of reacting here, I'm looking up at my owner and I'm getting a cookie and I don't really care about that. So this is one thing that I taught Rufus to do. When Rufus would see another dog like on the other side of the fence, he would get another toy or a toy. He would get his ball. His ball was like his most favorite prized possession in the universe, okay? He loved his ball. And he was all about grabbing that ball. And he would still like whine, like, and it was a different whine. It was like, like he really wanted to react, but he was dealing with it by grabbing his ball instead of fence fighting. And that's what I mean. And that's an example of an alternate behavior for your dog to learn. Okay. Um, the ball was easy because Rufus was ball driven. So, whatever, it doesn't have to be a toy. It can literally just be turning and looking at you and checking in with you as to what needs to happen next. You're there for them. You're their owner. And as their owner, it is your job and my job to set them up for success, not for this kind of crap, okay? You want to be their everything in a way that you've structured their life. You have a routine for them. You are taking care of them. You are letting them in and out. You're making them work to go in and out of the door. Even if it's sitting, just make them work, okay? Want to use the obedience that you teach them for your ammunition. That's all we have as dog owners. I've been saying this for years, man. It's like, you don't want a dog to bolt out the door? Sit, stay. It's real simple. Sit, stay. It's incompatible to bolting out the door. You don't want a dog to jump on you? Sit, stay. You don't want a dog to react to everything out there? Watch me, okay? And you have your dog turn and watch you. Name recognition. We've talked ad nauseum about name recognition, and I'm going to always talk about name recognition. Also, are you exercising your dog? Does your dog get enough exercise? Does your dog get enough mental stimulation? Probably not, because this is a lot of pent up energy. I'm going to assume that this dog was not appropriately socialized based on here. His mom was euthanized for attacking another dog. They don't want this to happen to them, to this dog. Chances are, actually, we don't know what's going to happen with this dog. I have no idea. But I just want you to remember that you need to set the precedence for your dog. You need to set the boundaries of what you are going to allow your dog to do or not to do. Do you want your dog to blow you off, or do you want your dog to listen to you? You want your dog to listen to you? You better create a relationship with them. How are you going to create a relationship with them? You better use some really good food. How are you going to get your dog to be food motivated? Don't feed them 10 cups of food for breakfast, okay? Cut back on the food. Make them work for everything. There's no free lunch. And it is very true. Troy, who just came up to me, you guys can't see him because I don't have a camera to move. It's on the laptop. But this boy and I have created quite the relationship with one another, and we do it through cookies. Because it's what worked for him. Some of you know I'm a wheelchair user. I'm not going to be able to run up and grab Troy and flip him over, or, swing him around and helicopter him. I could definitely correct him if I wanted to. I could definitely go hit him. I could push him. I could use a pinch collar on him, but I don't. I use a gentle leader on him to control him when we have company over, because he jumps. And I am a wheelchair user, and we all know that our company does not listen. And they're like, it's fine if you let your dog jump on me. I love them. It's fine. It's not fine. So be the responsible dog owner that you need to be with your pet. Do not hire people like this who are going to abuse your dog, who are going to terrorize them, fill them full of fear, and shut them down, and hide and squash all of their cues that let you know, I'm not happy. I'd rather have a dog, excuse me, that growls and gives me some kind of warning that something is going on. Don't you want your dog to let you know when something's going on at the door? I do. But I'm not gonna squash it. I allow my dog to bark at the door. How do I control it if he goes on too long? Sometimes they do. And the person's already gone, but the dog is still at the door. Guess what? Name recognition. Troy, come on. Boom. Look at me, watch me, whatever. And I don't even have to tell him to watch me. If I call him his name, he looks at me. It's just a given. Why? Because I reinforce the hell out of it with some really good treats. I cut back on his food in the morning because I'm going to train with him throughout the entire day. It is not a one-time situation. It is everything. It is when I feed him. It is when I let him out. It is when company comes over. It is when we get in the car. It is when we go to the vet's office. It is everything in his life, and it's my job to provide for him, and it's my job to be a responsible pet owner and protect him and avoid situations like this. Don't do this.